Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you how you can transfer status from J1 visa to H1B visa. Please be on the lookout where I will also share in my next video how to transfer status from J1 visa to F1 visa. I'm ready to share with you, so get your books and your pencil and let's get these information down. Let's get straight into it. So, at a glance, J1 visa are for non-immigrants who possess certain qualifications and are either sponsored by a program sponsor or sometimes directly by school districts or companies. J1 visa holders can change their status to H1B or F1 depending on their situation and the type of clause that is on their J1 visa. But stay tuned to hear what these are and how to move forward to transfer status. So you've been in the United States for a while now and your J1 visa has served you well. You've been on a program for maybe 3 or 5 years, but it's now time for you to pursue something else. Nothing is wrong with that, but please note that there are things that you need to take into consideration before moving forward. And that's the reason for this video. You would already know that the J1 visa is a cultural exchange visa, meaning you are eligible to work in the United States under a specific job title and should return home to your home country once your visa is expired. Some of the typical areas that J1 visa holders are sponsored to work under are au pairs, teachers, students, physicians from abroad, government academic participants, and seasonal workers. So a J1 visa holder can change their status provided that all the requirements are met. Depending on your unique situation, you would have to follow certain steps. The biggest obstacle you may face being a J1 holder is the 2-year residency rule. Before you apply to change the status of your J1 visa, you would first need to obtain a waiver for your 2-year residency rule. The 2-year residency rule means that you need to go home to your home country for at least 2 years, then return to the United States to work if that's your desire. However, the waiver, if processed and approved, will allow you to stay in the United States and continue living and working. So there are a group of people that are usually subjected to the 2-year residency rule. These people are J1 holders who are government funded recipients, whether it's the US government funding your visa or an international government funding your visa. J1 holders who are working in a field that is needed in their home country, and so their government has this clause with the US government that there should be a 2-year residency rule. Or people who took part in a medical training in the United States as part of an educational commission for foreign medical graduates. So, under what condition can you waive your J1 visa? The first one is no objection from the U.S. Embassy in your home country, request by an interested U.S. agency, fear of prosecution in your home country, exceptional hardship to a U.S. citizen, whether that be your spouse or your child, or a request by State Department of Health. We now get to how to change from J1 visa to H1B visa. First thing first, to change from a J1 visa to a H1B visa, now, in addition to your waiver, you must consider these things to transfer from J to H1B visa. You must have a bachelor's degree in a specialized area that you're going to be working in, as well as you must have some type of license for the area that you will be getting that H1B visa for. Guys, if you did not give this video a thumbs up as yet, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to share with somebody who might need this information. Additionally, the job you're seeking must agree to sponsor your H1B visa. Another thing to take into consideration is the H1B cap annually. Each year, there's a H1B cap in the United States. What the cap means, for example, in 2019, the cap was 65,000 visas to be issued for H1B. Therefore, H1B workers are entered into a lottery, and those who win are eligible to move on with their H1B process. Please note that teachers are not counted in the cap, and so teachers can apply for jobs right throughout the year and be sponsored at H1B visa and don't need to worry about the cap for H1B. Other professions will have to take into account the H1B cap and think about their possibility of winning the lottery. So the first thing you need to do, once you have your waiver in hand, you have a degree, you have your license in your area, you need to find an H1B sponsor. How do you find an H1B sponsor? So many school districts are sponsoring teachers H1Bs. I've shared a ton of videos on this channel with school district that sponsors H1B. You might ask, yes, Dr. Britton, you've been sharing these videos, but what do I do? The first thing you need to do is to reach out to the school district, confirm if they sponsor H1B visas. If they agree, and in most cases, some will say yes, some will say it depends and tell you to put an application in, you go ahead and you put your application in. You can also search on myvisajobs.com to find school districts that sponsor H1B visas. You might find that some school districts are currently sponsoring, and some on that website might have stopped sponsoring H1B visas. So again, you would need to do further checks. Once you find a school district that you feel comfortable with, you go ahead and you put your application in. I will encourage you, if you are transferring from J to H1B visa, you need to take into consideration your time factor. For example, if you are on a J1 visa and it's your third year, you're going to get an extension you're going to get a 2-year extension. You want to apply for your waiver before the final year. No school district is going to sponsor you a H1B visa if you do not have a waiver in hand. Therefore, time the process and find out from your home country how long it usually takes for your waiver to be approved. For example, your home country takes 8 months to a year. You want to put your application in for your waiver at least 18 months before your J1 visa is going to be expired. You want to give it enough time that just in case it doesn't take the usual time, you still have enough time to wait to get that waiver in hand. Again, H1B sponsors will not do any paperwork unless you have your waiver in hand. So, now that you have your waiver in hand, now that you went on and you find a school district that you want to work with, they did a job interview and they're going to sponsor your H1B visa, there are steps that they will need to take. Most of these sponsors, they utilize a lawyer to take care of this paperwork. Here are the steps that they will take to apply for your H1B visa. So the first thing the lawyer will do in applying for your H1B visa is to submit a labor conditions approval to the Department of Labor. The LCA submitted to DOL will be used to identify if you as an employee will be treated fairly and as equally as any U.S. citizen in that same field. It will also be used to determine your salary, your working conditions, and the location in which you will be working. Once your LCA is approved, the lawyer will then submit your I-129 to the USCIS. Once your LCA is approved, the lawyer will then submit your form I-129 to USCIS. These are the things that will be submitted with your I-129. They will need to submit your application fees. And if you are going to be speeding up this process and you need to get your H1B visa, approved in 15 days, they will submit documentation of your certification as well as your license in the area that you are applying for a visa for. They will need an employment agreement from your sponsor as well as your resume, and also a letter of support from your employer. Once those are submitted, you will need to wait to hear from USCIS to see if your visa was approved. In most cases, if you're already here in the United States and you get an approval for your H1B visa, you can stay here in the country and continue working for your new employer. However, if you leave the country at any given time, to re-enter, you would need to go to your local embassy and apply to get that visa stamped in your book. Again, you will need to take all the relevant documents to the embassy, which your lawyer should give you a list of what you should take, and go to the embassy. And again, you're going to be interviewed. So what is the cost for your H1B? The cost is usually on your sponsor, and so you would not need to worry about paying for your own H1B visas. However, if you want to speed up the process and pay for premium processing, that's going to be on you, and you would need to find that upfront. And currently, for premium processing is $2,500 and your visa, you will get some response from them within 15 business days. So I hope this video provided you some information on how to go about changing status from J1 visa to H1B visa. If there are other questions you have, please put them in the comment section below, and I will respond. Also, you might be wondering again, and I know a lot of teachers are asking this, how am I going to find these jobs? You need to do your research in the specific areas that you're searching for and find out if they are sponsoring H1B visas. A lot of school districts will say it on their website, or if they're having a job fair, if they sponsor international teachers. Guys, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.